Hey guys, welcome to the UpNext podcast, where we are interviewing teen entrepreneurs that are making it big time in the startup world. We are asking the questions we know you want to hear. UpNext is an app made for teens where anyone can join or build a real-life startup.
Our guest today is Ziling Zhong from China originally, but she grew up in Kenya, which is already super cool. Age 18, she is a social entrepreneur and founder of Ethnoma, an education platform that spreads the learning of math through culture, creating a greater impact on students and relating them with math and their cultural heritage.
How did you find yourself creating such a business? What sparked the idea?
So, as you mentioned, I'm originally from China and I grew up in East Africa. And basically, there are like around 1 million Chinese in Africa, but most are like male construction workers. And to me, that's basically, I'm in this minority, like I call Asian African group. And I went to an international school in Kenya, and I'm like the first mainland Chinese there. And basically, when I, for example, go through history class and I see students from other countries, like countries that are not really featured in like history classrooms, for example, like Korea, and when our teachers like make the effort to learn more about Korea, so he can create more history curriculum about Korea in history class. The Koreans just feel like, yeah, we're learning more about our own country and own culture. And for me, that's more like, since I'm a math person, I just thought that it would be cool to learn culture, math through different cultural perspectives, just for cultural understanding and cultural bridging.
Okay.
Who do you consider your first mentor? What did they help you go through?
Mentor is actually Ethnoma is there's a word for it, it's called ethnomathematics, culture and math. Ethno, culture, math. And actually that's where we got the name Ethnoma. We just added an O between eth and ethno mathematics. And he's a notable famous ethnomathematician. His name is Professor Ron Eglash, who's a current professor at the University of Michigan. And before, he actually spent years in Africa studying the culture. And the first thing that piqued his interest in this field is actually African fractals. Fractals are these geometry shapes that have these iterative nesting structures. Basically, you see like tree branches or like the outline of like a mountain. And he noticed that a lot of African indigenous groups art or architecture has a lot of fractal patterns in it. And he was just so astounded by that. He's like, what if we can introduce like computer science concepts through these elements, and also introduce math concepts through different cultures. And so he's like I reached out to him via a cold email, and he's been helping, like guiding, advising me, and also introducing me to other mentors. And another mentor I'd say is a lady in Kenya. She runs a science STEM related center related to STEM education. And these people, they're all like fans of ethnomathematics, and they're just amazing.
To build the product that you launched?
Well, so I first started in around August 2020. And in the beginning, I'd say it was more, we're trying to focus on computer science and culture. And it took us around like 2 months, but it didn't really work out because there are a lot of different factors, especially with online. You need the computer, you need the more in-person instruction, and setting up Zoom and stuff. And at that point it wasn't like a very good timing, because back then in Uganda there was like power cuts and also internet like cuts and stuff. But later I changed to reading cultural math, ethnomathematics, and basically designing curriculum design that aligns with the American Common Core State Standards, CCSS. And that took it's still in process. So I started in August, but like it took a break later. And this math part, I started February to now, and now we're planning on distributing to like classrooms, partnering with different like the classroom setting.
How much money was needed to build your...
We don't really need like funding yet because it's more like gathering information and assembling curriculum. But I'd say like in the near future, because I'm actually like I'll be transitioning to the United States, that's when I probably will need money for like reaching out to like different like marketing and like reaching out to schools. But for the time being, like not yet for the product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And how would you find yourself, getting that funding? What would you recommend to those who don't really know where to begin?
There are so many like grants that people can apply for. There's GoFundMe, and there are just different entrepreneurial incubator programs just everywhere, like because this world, this generation like supports entrepreneurship, and there's also people supporting teen entrepreneurs. So literally using Google, just type up grants or funding, you'll probably find like resources on that.
Yeah.
How did you get those first users, customers to come aboard? What was that like?
Well, for Sonoma, since it's like a curriculum design, I'd say because since I'll be entering USA as an international student, I'd say a more efficient way is collabing with different organizations that are working on curriculum and education. We're working on similar missions as Ethanoma, and basically introducing like teachers to these curriculum and encourage them to use these curriculum in schools.
What is one time you experienced a real fail moment? Just, everything went wrong. Did you fix it? Were you able to? Did you learn from it? What happened?
First, it's super important to learn to calm down whenever we face, like whether it's something exciting or something really angry, and with that, patience, because sometimes if we decide to act on our emotion, it can lead to more mistakes for a project and can lead to awkward situations and a lot of just different drama and just a lot of emotional investment.
What are 3 traits that you look for in a co-founder, business partner type of person?
I'd say first is loyalty. You need to be able to trust them, and also similar mission goals or similar skills and interests. But also at the same time, we also want different complementary parts because opposites attract, and it's good to have different perspectives from the business partner. And also, I'm a huge MBTI fan. Like MBTI will also be like a factor in, like I like certain personality types, and I'll just be like, oh, I think I'll bond with you more because I like this personality. Even though I do not mean like I cannot work with certain other personalities, but certainly in certain situations, sometimes a certain person with a certain character or like just MBTI can help contribute to like a better project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could you name one advantage and one disadvantage of being such a young entrepreneur?
Advantage is there's so many, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of resources this age, and there's so many different ideas, so many programs, so many mentorship incubator programs where people support us. And I say disadvantage is related to that because certain adults can be like, I think you're not old enough to do this. Like you should do school. You should just get this major, get this job instead of focusing this thing. And like you're too young for this. And that I say is like, yeah. But that's also like can turn into a fuel for like motivation because you can show them that teens, we can make a change and we can make this world a better place.
What is a tech tool that you just can't go without? Maybe an app or a website, something that you always use.
This might be cliche, but it's so important. Like I say LinkedIn or Twitter for like networking, because LinkedIn is most people are professional. If you're on LinkedIn, probably means you do care about what you do. and people are more likely gonna, like, especially adults are more likely gonna reply to you because they can see your past experiences and your passion through maybe your interactions with other on your feed or your posts. And yeah, so, and those tools, you can just find so many different other entrepreneurs, teen entrepreneurs or adult entrepreneur mentors on LinkedIn, and also Twitter, because there are a lot of academic Twitter people who like are also willing to help and mentor and guide.
Yeah.
Which entrepreneurs inspire you the most these days? Who do you have your eye on?
So there's this company called Bana Pads. It's invented by a Ugandan entrepreneur. His name is Mr. Richard Bale. He grew up in rural Uganda, and he just, sanitation is like a huge issue in his area. So he created this biodegradable pad using banana stalks that, more women have access to, and it's cheaper. And like the biggest reason that he inspires one of the biggest reasons he inspires me is how he focuses on rural development, because I think in this world a lot of solutions that we have, because most like innovation takes place in big cities, and so we tend to just want to focus on something that's more impacting a big city, and then sometimes these city solutions don't necessarily work on a rural setting. But they're equally important, like if not more, like in rural areas there's like less access to things. So yeah, so fan of Bana Pads, Mr. Richard Bale is a huge inspiration.
So let's say I am an average teenager. I'm looking to build my startup and I have $100. What or how or where would you tell me to use this money, if at all?
Well, I say first, even though you do have this money, I first check out free resources, and then on top of the free, free resources, either like on you networking is free, Google is free, YouTube is free, Coursera is free. After you found the free resources, and if you find something that you need to build upon of that's like not free, that's when I say $100 would be more on like maybe a certain premium feature of a product that you need, or like some sort of subscription, or just maybe funding like an idea, or even like, I mean, like this is like a huge, you can use this money and invest in something. I don't know, there's so many possible ways depending on the project to use that money.
How important do you feel it is for young entrepreneurs to think about social change when creating a business?
Like extremely. Because like you know because business, it's related to economics, related to social science, it can be about psychology, anything. And like, we are like humans, like we're like a whole society, and we interact with each other. It's like social, everything that you're gonna do in a business is related to this society. But yeah, of course there are people who only care about money or only care about prestige and success, and I mean that's fine too, but I think it's even more important to also think of this world, because you can create a business that's super successful but you pollute this environment, and maybe like within a few years, like if the environment, like our basic foundation, like to live on this earth, is like very polluted, like how are you gonna sustain even more, like sustain this future, like this future, our generation, because we need to think of our future generations as well, because the reason we're here is because our previous generations have thought, about making their world a better place, and we should also carry on that legacy.
Mm-hmm.
If you could have any superpower in the world, what would you pick?
Pick being able to bring electricity to every corner that doesn't have electricity, because I grew up in Africa, and just for example, like Africa is around 30% internet coverage, like compared to America. I'd say USA is more like 80 to 90%. And like, so internet, what access to the internet can just transform lives in so many ways. You have more access to ideas, education, and Wi-Fi is like powered by electricity, and and also electricity, like with light, with more basic, like because like a lot of sorry, because like a lot of like rural areas, it's like around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. they're in darkness and they can't use the time at night to do something else, to learn something new, because they can't really see because it's all total darkness, and then they don't have these access to different information that can make their world situation better. So yeah, so that's definitely a superpower I'd have, to be able to provide electricity to every corner of this world.
I love that. I think this is the first time I've heard of, that kind of superpower, and it feels like you kind of had that in your head for a while. Like, I just give me the power already, because I know what I want, and that sounds amazing. It was so great, getting to know you and what you do, and opening my mind to this whole new world of math and computer science that I did not even know existed. So thank you for teaching me something new, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I just wanted to say, if you love what's going on, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give a like, turn on your notifications, comment, do all that good stuff. We are uploading so much content all the time, so I will see you guys soon.